know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Looking to help your favorite Chiefs podcast? Well, we're trying to raise money to create merchandise for our online store, as well as be able to have more merch to do giveaways to all of our fans. To any of our YouTubers, if you see down below, you can show your support with the new Super Thanks option. Any amount will go a long way towards helping us launch our online store. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks to all of our followers for your continued support. Enjoy the episode. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm here with our guy, former tight end, Jason Dunn. And tonight we got a special guest and Super Bowl winning kicker, former Kansas City Chiefs kicker. And you can hear him on Blue Rush podcast every week. And kicker Lawrence Tynes. Lawrence, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Marcus, JD, what's going on, man? It's been a minute since I talked to JD, but it was like yesterday. He looks the same. He looks great. The best blocking tight end in the history of the game. I think I tweeted that out last week. I know everyone always talks about that O-line, JD.
Yeah.
And because I knew I played on those teams, and I said, man, did y'all see number 89 at the edge? I said, he's the one who made everything happen. He's why Priest got that edge. He's why Larry got that edge.
That's right.
I said, yeah, man. I said, you know, we used to try and talk JD into moving to tackle.
Yeah.
Me and Billy Baber. We said, hey, they pay you a lot more money to go over there and block.
Hey, look, LT, I tell them all the time. I said, man, if they were serious about it, I would have made that move. No doubt about it. Because what they was paying tight ends, and even now, it's not even the same what they're doing on tackles, you know?
JD, let me ask you this. What'd you play at, like 280?
So my official weight was 272. That's what I had to weigh in on every Friday.
How much weight do you think you would you have had to gain any? I mean, you were so damn strong to play tackle.
Dude, I would have probably went up to about 290, 295. I could have easily held 300 and still look my weight. You know, I'm like right now I'm right around about 290, close to that 288. And so the thing is, like, I'll still remain thin, but I could. Now I don't have to go down the field, right? Now I'm just sitting back and kicking back. And I would, to be honest with you, LT, I was just thinking about this the other day. In my career in Kansas City, I think I made a guy giving up maybe 2 sacks. My entire
career.
time, maybe. Yeah, dude. I took pride in it. You know, like you said, appreciate all the accolades and everything you just gave me, man. But I took that thing serious. And sometimes when you're saying you talk about those lines, I'm like, hello, I was out there too. I was doing a whole lot. You know,
I never forget because people want to talk about Rofe and Shields and Waters and Wigman. The right tackle spot was it Wellborn or Tate? It just kind of fluctuated.
It did.
But I said, y'all are forgetting about that beast out there, number 89, because I said that's the one that made that's what made everything go. And Tony was a decent blocker, but you know he wanted all that shine in the end zone. That's what Tony wanted.
Yeah, but that Joker was good at it, man. But you know, like we always talk about like T. Rich and those guys in the line. I'm just like, dude, I was in like I played 70% of the plays. That's why I was in 70% of the offensive plays, 70 to 75% every week. That's how it was. Right. And so I was just like, man, it's nothing just sniff at. I wasn't just, when somebody used like backup and things like that, Coach Ramil used to always say, no. Jason's a 1A or 1B. That's how it is. You know, he's a starter. And that's, I started when I was in Philly. I got to Kansas City. And then, of course, just playing the role, I just had to create a niche. And that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, and you were good at it.
Yeah. But I had to say, man, LT, man, I appreciate you so much for being on here. And I just had to tell you also, well, look, I played with some of the greatest kickers in the game, no doubt about it. And I had to just tell you that you are one of my favorite, without a doubt, guys that I've ever played with.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Kansas City gave me my start. As I look back on my career, it was like I was good, but I wasn't what I ended up being in New York. I was trying to learn how to be a pro here.
Yeah.
And obviously I had some ups, I had some downs here, and it ended with me being traded in 2007, but I think it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
Obviously I've got those 2 trophies in the back because I got traded. But it was kind of, you feel bad when you get traded, right? Because it was like the only time Carl Peterson ever talked to me. I think I went to his office and he said, he said, because we had drafted Justin Medlock. And he said, hey, remember? I don't know if you were still here or not. Were you here in 2007?
I was, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We drafted Medlock in the 4th or 5th round, and I'm sitting there at home going, well, I'm not going to be the kicker this year. So I requested a trade, and so I went to Carl's office. He said, all right, I got New Orleans, the Texans, and the Giants. They're all offering a 7th round pick. And he actually gave me the choice because this compensation was all the same, which was kind of cool for Carl to ask me where I wanted to go. And because T-Mac, Thomas McGahee, was in New York, and it's still in New York, by the way. That's why I went to New York, because T-Mac was with us in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was my coach in NFL Europe. And so that's really why I chose New York, because of a coach that I loved and who's a brother of mine still.
Yeah.
T-Mac. So that's how it all went down. But, I have some great memories in Kansas City with the Christmas field goal I made against the Raiders, the one against the Chargers.
Yeah.
That's actually that game ball up there. I put it up here for the show. That's the one from the Chargers game from 53 yards. Remember, we made the 48.
Yes.
Chris Wilson false started, and then they backed me up, and that was like my career long. Still is, I think.
Is it okay? I remember
Chargers,
that.
And that was a fun game, man. When you beat a division rival.
Yeah.
It wasn't a walk-off. I think we still had to kick off with like 3 or 4 seconds left, but that's probably the highlight of my career in Kansas City, those 2 moments.
Brother, look, man, you did a lot out here, and I just, you're talking about it. I just remember kind of like you growing up, like you were talking about like the first part of your career. And then when you went to New York and you was just stellar even then, and just kicking into the Super Bowl. And I was just so happy, just hearing names of guys that I played with, Wika. I mean, I was just like, dude, man, this is incredible. And T-Mac, look, man,
T-Mac was there.
Man, tell T-Mac, man, I said, what's up? That's my brother, man. T-Mac,
listen,
man,
when we get done, I'll give you his number. You can text him.
Please.
And I'll get yours, because I don't think I have your number. But for sure, T-Mac's one of my favorites. I think about people as you play this game, and it's all about people who help you and who want, coaches, right? The reason I went to New York was because of T-Mac.
Right.
And so, yeah, he means the world to me.
Yeah, man. One of the most underrated coaches out there, guy to play the game at a high level. Yeah, man, to come out there and do what he did, man. That T-Mac, man,
his son is a freshman tight end at Houston. Big time player, big time recruit.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I seen T-Mac. Last time I seen T-Mac, it might have been at the combine or like at a coaches convention or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we was all, everybody hangs out at the.
He's pretty active on Instagram. So if you got Instagram, you can find him on there.
All right. Is he sitting around with it? Probably showing his muscles and all those different things too.
No. He's into that Kaizen, all that, that everything happens for a reason type stuff. And he's been that way forever, which is kind of what I implemented into, tries to always get you to read these books and stuff. And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't reading that book. but he's into that mental part of life and sports, which I appreciate because he lives it.
Yeah, I love it, man. Sure, I'm going to check out some books, man, because I'm into all of that. Like really, just with guys, just like you said, the mentality of just, being positive about things in life.
Man, this whole NFL is 95% mental. Everyone can run, everyone can jump, everyone can catch, everyone can kick. It's just who separates himself mentally.
Right.
We got off track there, Marcus, but
good.
I know this is your show.
You're good. Trying to catch up, man. We're trying to catch up, brother.
That's the one beauty about Chief Concerns. We have, former players come on. You guys, haven't talked in a while, and you kind of see everything, all the memories and everything come up. It's great. One of the things we love about the show. And I will say those years when you were in New York, I was in middle school, and I remember throughout the playoffs rooting for the Giants because of you. So,
oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah, me and Kavika, we had a good little run. Kavika, he was on a 1-year deal. So was I. I stayed. I signed a 5-year deal. Kavika left and went to Buffalo and got paid. I can't believe the Giants didn't keep him. He had an unbelievable year that year. They wanted to. I think the money just got in the way, so he went to Buffalo.
Right. Okay.
Missed out on that second ring.
Hey.
He should have stayed.
I think looking back at all the guests we've had on the show, I think you, Kavika, and Coach Ramil are the only ones who have a ring who've come on Chief Concerns. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually have 2, so I got more than all of them.
There you go. All right, but we're going to talk about the Chiefs Cardinals. Kind of recapping what we saw on Sunday, which a lot of people were surprised by it. You guys may not have been so surprised, but so Chiefs beat the Cardinals 44-21, and probably the biggest blowout of the weekend. Mahomes looked like Mahomes even without Tyreek Hill, which some people are kind of surprised by that. He completed 30 passes to 9 different receivers. The defense looked phenomenal as well against Arizona. So we got a lot of DMs from fans asking if they should feel good about this win, or should they kind of hold off on their thoughts on it because Arizona didn't look so well and they were down so many guys. So was this game on Sunday more good Chiefs or just bad Cardinals?
You know what? I'll start out with it. This was really, I think, the coming out party with the Chiefs and the whole offense. Everybody's getting a glimpse without Tyreek Hill, right? Nobody knew what it was going to be, or they didn't know it was going to be as stellar as it was. But to be honest with you, I mean, I could see this coming. And because I look at it as far as the depth of guys that we have, the quality of guys that we have at the wide receiver position. Then you talk about the 3 tight ends. Travis played incredible like he always does. Jody Fortson comes in. Noah Gray does an incredible job. And then we talk about the workhorses in the back, right? That whole stall that we got. And so here you got Jared McKinnon, you got CH, who was incredible, and then you got Pacheco. So Patrick he is surrounded by a plethora of playmakers. I mean, guys that are established. So we know these guys that came from different places have already done work with some good quarterbacks, come here to Kansas City, and they don't skip a beat. And so it wasn't really, to me, it wasn't at all something that I think that the Cardinals didn't do. The Cardinals they couldn't keep up. They didn't have enough. And so I think it was more so the offense and the Chiefs, what they did. And we seen it with our own eyes.
Yeah, there was definitely, I think, a lot of anxiety for Chiefs fans, Chiefs Nation, because you do lose a playmaker like Tyreek Hill. It's natural to say, oh my God, how good are we going to be? But the reality of it is, if you watch the Chiefs, and I studied them a little bit this weekend, for the first time, and this I hope this comes out right, it looks like everything was on time. It was on schedule. Whereas before, Patrick would use his feet, obviously because he knew he had number 10 out there that could do whatever the hell he wanted in the back end of the defense and make a play. And with Patrick's arm, you throw it, you make chunk plays, big plays, crazy plays. This offense is scarier, in my opinion, because there are so many more weapons. You're involving Clyde, Edwards-Helaire, CEH. Let's just drop it down to the acronym because of MVS. There's all kinds of but getting him the ball in space, out of the backfield, more on time, in rhythm. Everything just looked more in rhythm. And that's the problem. And now, granted, they're playing a quality opponent this Thursday. I don't think the Cardinals are in the same category as the Chargers, but they look better. And to be honest with you, to go to the other side of the football, I think they look better on defense. I thought they played okay. They got some young guys, but that will get better as the season goes along. Steve Spagnuolo was our D coordinator in 2007 with the Giants when we won the Super Bowl. Dave Merritt, the secondary coach. I played golf this summer with Dave, and I love Spags. As you guys know, his defense generally gets better as the season goes along.
Yeah.
And they did okay last year, but I think they'll be better there. And if they're better there, holy cow! I mean, this team is really good,
dude. And I'll say this, just kind of piggybacking off of that. What you've seen a lot of was like these young, hungry guys, and I think Spags like young guys who will come in, who will play man, who will get in your face, who's going to be physical. He's going to give you a lot of different looks. And what they did was a good job. We had Najee Johnson out here, LT, the week before, and Najee was talking about what they were going to do, the game plan as far as containing Kyler Murray. And I think they absolutely was able to do that. They kept him in the pocket. He got to wait. Look, you're not going to stop a guy like Kyler Murray the entire time, right? He's going to make some runs. He's going to make some throws. But overall, what they did, there was a solid defense. The linebackers played well. Bolton was all over the place. Juan Thornhill was doing a great job. Let's bring in. I'm just going to take my hat off to Justin Reed, Mr. Do-It-All, Mr.
Incredible
Swiss Army Knife. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
I don't think it's being on the national scale. I don't think what he did Sunday is being talked about enough.
Yeah,
to go kick PATs in the National Football League, and then he sent a kickoff to the moon. I mean, I don't think people understand. Like they think everyone's kicking's easy. As I understand it, did he play soccer at Stanford too?
He did. I think I know he has a soccer background, but he kicked off. He did kick off, I think, at Stanford. I think sometime.
Crazy athlete. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I respect it more obviously because I did it. Mm-hmm. But man, to go out into a live game and make a PAT and then kick off when unfortunately your kicker gets hurt, that's crazy. Yeah. It's pretty cool, and he's great safety too. So, he's a good football player.
Yeah, I was looking at picking him up in fantasy, but he only had 2 solo.
For the PATs,
1 PAT, so he only had 3 in fantasy.
He needs the pick 6, a field goal, and a PAT. That would be sweet.
The ultimate fantasy football individual defensive player. Okay, but kind of talking about the way the offense looked a little bit more. And I know every year we always talk about how defenses, they slowly figure out how to stop offenses. And, it took a few years to stop the Chiefs offense with the too high safety look, which, making us, matriculating the ball down the field a little more. And with this new offense, this new look, kind of being more on time than we've seen in the past, how long do you think it's going to take for defenses to adjust to this offense that we have? Or is it just kind of too hard to adjust to this offense with so many weapons out there?
Well, you know what? I don't think you could use a gimmick. Obviously playing a too high shell was different because you had Tyreek Hill because he was doing a lot of passing down the field, a lot of deep passes. This right here, if you try to double Kelce, right, which I think obviously what defense is trying to do because he's going to kill you, you leave everybody else open. You leave them one-on-one and you just leave, people in zone. And so what do you do? You got to play your standard defense. The thing is, when I'm looking at this, I'm betting on my guy being better than your guy. I'm betting on Juju being better than your corner or better than your linebacker. I'm betting on Hardman being better than your corner or your linebacker, your safety. Same thing with MVS. Then you got Sky Moore. And then, of course, if we're doing one-on-one in the pass game with one of the running backs, I mean, you hit over the head. And so I just it's hard as far as like how do you deal with the Chiefs offense? The best answer to me, what a defense could do is just pass rush and pressure, trying to get Patrick off his game a little bit. I think if you try to do that, then you may have a chance to at least disrupt some of the timing, getting the ball out to some guys. And I think it's going to be a good challenge this week because we know they got incredible guys on the outfield outside who's going to be coming off the ball. And so Mac and Bosa, man, those guys are going to be incredible, man. But if you are able to stop that and stifle that pass rush, then Patrick's going to hit him over the head again. And so I think that's the key of it. The key is, stopping Patrick. If you don't stop Patrick, everybody else is going to be open. And so he's just going to be able to pick you apart, man. I mean, he took his defense out like Swiss cheese. I mean, he was just dotting the I's. I mean, he was almost literally perfect almost the entire first half. Seriously.
Yeah. This game this week is a step up in class, certainly, when you got Bosa, Mack, and Derwin James and some of these guys they have over there on that defense. But listen, Andy Reid's one of the great game planners in NFL history. And then you obviously mix that in with the best quarterback in pro football. I wouldn't worry about too much of someone catching up to the Chiefs. Certainly there's going to be games where teams have a good beat on them or a good game plan and stifle them, but strength versus strength, right? Yeah. The Chargers D-line against the Chiefs O-line. And those tackles are going to get tested Thursday night. But, I mean, when 15's back there, I can't say enough superlatives about him. I mean, the guy's incredible. I don't think we've seen anyone like him. No. You're going to run man, he's going to tear you up. You're going to run zone, you have no shot. You just have to mix in and disguise coverages and try and confuse Mahomes, which is hard to do because he's obviously a very intelligent guy. But we'll see as the season goes along. There's going to be games maybe where there's a slip up or a bad game plan or vice versa, or somebody plays well or turnovers or injury. But, I mean, this team is really good. I don't want to put too much pressure on them, but, I mean, I expect them to win. They're going to be favored probably in every game they play. Look, LT, and this is what I'm seeing, and you probably see the same thing. And I don't think people quite get it in their head because sometimes when I hear a lot of just the negative talk on Patrick Mahomes and whatnot, I don't think they quite understand his greatness, as far as his ability. And sometimes when people try to be dismissive of the things he's doing because he's unorthodox in his throwing, and maybe he's making a play. I heard Skip say some things, and of course all the other analysts are making these negative statements about him. But I always look at it like this, and I'll let you kind of talk about it. But when Patrick is making those throws, in his head he knows he can make them. Like, he's already figuring out this guy is not fast enough or he's not quick enough to jump the ball to knock this ball down. Like, he's taking a chance because in his mind, it's 100% going to be successful, right? Or you just don't take it, correct? And so, he's not just playing. He's not just out there playing backyard football, which sometimes it looks like it.
Right.
He just has so much confidence in his ability to make those throws.
Yes.
And the thing I think I respect most about Mahomes is, as good as he is, he keeps receipts.
Yes.
He keeps receipts. And when you got a dude that is that good, that plays with a chip on his shoulder, which that's hard to do, right? $500 million contract, all the money in the world, all the success in the world. He plays with a Tom Brady-esque type chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. And
that's crazy to me because he should be the number one ranked player every year by players on the NFL Network. He's not. He wasn't this year. Right. And then I saw another list, and I'm sure he saw it, where they ranked like 3 or 4 quarterbacks ahead of him.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Like Allen and what's his name, Herbert, and then
Joe Burrow, probably.
They're not.
No.
They're not. But listen, keep fueling him. Because that's what I love the most about 15 is he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And that would be hard to do if I was as good as him.
Oh, yeah.
But he does. He finds a way to self-motivate, and that's why he's great. That's why it's clear-cut. He's the best quarterback in the game. It's not even close.
So basically we tell you, haters, y'all keep hating. Keep bringing all the fire to him, right?
I guarantee you he loves it. He does. He's a different cat. Like, he's a different dude. Yeah. And that's what makes him great.
It's crazy. I seen I think Pro Football Focus had him, I think, like the 8th best, like, I don't know, like performances.
Oh, after week 1.
Yeah. I'm like, what game are y'all watching? How are y'all measuring and quantifying what he just did out on the football field? I don't understand. Is it just arbitrarily going out there?
I was a subscriber to Pro Football Focus because I covered the Giants for my podcast, and I wanted to go in there and see who graded out high, who didn't grade out high.
Yeah,
man, it's just too hard to understand because they don't understand what a player is supposed to do on a certain play. So it's really hard to say this guy played well, this guy played poorly. So I stopped that subscription, but people believe it is the Bible. They do. Because like I would go watch the all 22 film, and then I would look at the Pro Football Focus grade, and I'd be like, man, this dude was not a 38. Like, that's really low. And I'm like, man, he played well. He maybe gave up some pressures, but So that whole thing is a farce. But again, it's just another thing that's going to fuel Mahomes to, kick your teeth in on Sundays or Thursdays. So, yeah.
I just, to me, for the life of me, like I said, I think it's just arbitrarily just picking the way that how you want to measure a guy, right? Well, he didn't have the right shoes on. Maybe that's taking. Is that
It's I think it has some level of what's the word? I don't even know the word I'm trying to say, but to me, it serves a purpose of some sort. But man, people think it's the Bible out there. But the guys who all play all have comments about it. But the people who don't play think it's the Bible. So
it's the numbers that get you and all that, like the whole
they do a good job.
Analytics,
they
analytics.
do a good job with the colors and the market. They do a really good job with the cool numbers and you get green if you played well, red if you sucked. I don't know. It's like, I was a subscriber for 2 years. And they took my $250 every year, so it's not cheap.
Yeah.
I think they had Ryan Tannehill ahead of him this week. They had a few. And I think because someone had commented on the main grader, and they said, what goes into this? I mean, he goes, so he cited the CEH touchdown. He goes, anybody could have made that throw. It wasn't like a hard throw that a special quarterback had to make. And then also the one where he threw up the pass, and he said he had an almost interception, which they grade as an interception. The one where he threw up to it was Juju in the back of the end zone, and Juju had to break it up.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to throw 50-50 balls back there.
Right. Right.
Let your guy go make a play. You can't say that's a pick. It wasn't a pick.
Yeah.
If my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle. I mean, geez, what are we doing? God. All right.
And someone brought up the Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen had that one pick where it went in and out of the receiver's hands, and they said that wasn't on him. But then someone cited last year when Mahomes had 1 million interceptions where it was coming off his receiver's hands, and PFF wasn't, was grading him low for those.
I would like to see another category for that because, Daniel Jones catches a lot of heat in New York, but I bet you half the picks last year were in and out of a receiver's hands. And I think there needs to be a special category for that for quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I agree with you. But see, it'd be difficult because
it'd be all judgment.
Yeah, it is. It is because it's like, well, if Allen had put the ball on his outside, then it wouldn't even been a question if he bobbled or whatever for it to be an inside, right? Like, hey, throw it to the outside where it's not even a chance, right? So I don't know, but I agree with you. All that stuff, man. Is, to be honest with you, man, is subjective.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think some Chief fans think there's a little bit bias. There's a little bit anti-Mahomes bias with the PFF guys. I don't know. It's analytics though, so it can't be a bias.
We'll let his brother handle him.
Yeah. Okay, so with the next topic, the week 1 NFL injury bug was pretty bad across the league. I saw Greg Olson on there on one of the shows yesterday saying that he thinks a lot of the injuries stem from guys not playing in the preseason, not playing enough, kind of getting out there and taking the hits, whereas instead of taking your hits week 1 of the NFL season, makes you just feel a little bit different. But Chiefs had 8 injuries, 8 guys on the injury report, two of which, Harrison Butker and Trent McDuffie, are the two ones that logged DNPs yesterday. Trey Smith, also one of the guys who left the game early with an ankle injury, but he got in a limited practice on Tuesday. And so, as we talked about earlier, Justin Reid filled in admirably for Harrison Butker on Sunday, but the Chiefs did bring in veteran kicker Kristen Vizcaino for a workout, and then ultimately signed kicker Matt Amendola. And if Butker can't go, Matt Amendola will be the guy on Thursday night. Lawrence, I want to ask you about the injury to Butker. How big of a deal is that ankle injury? I mean, just based on what you saw, that kind of plant leg as he kicked as he had that kickoff. How big was it? He's a right-footed kicker, right? So his left ankle is a big deal. I had a similar injury in 2010 on a Friday practice. We usually did 1 or 2 field goals in a situational type practice before the weekend, and I did the exact same thing. I planted, rolled my ankle exactly like he did, and obviously I couldn't play on Sunday. They signed Shane Graham on Saturday. He played Sunday. I was able to go the next week with a black and blue ankle and some Toradol. But I was able to get through it. And obviously we saw Butker make the 54-yarder with
like 1.5 steps. So I think listen, he's going to be vital part of this game. You're playing a divisional game at home, and Matt Amendola, I looked him up because I knew you were going to ask this question. Not the guy you want out there on a Thursday night national television game. He must have had a good workout, but I think he's like 13 of 18 in his career. So if you can have Butker, you're going to want him out there. I think with rest all week, I don't think he has to kick until Sunday, and that would be a ton of rest. You tape it up, maybe get a Toradol shot if the pain's too much. But I think a 60% Butker is better than the kid they just signed. And I think, points are going to be at a premium on Thursday night. So, what am I talking about? They play Thursday. He doesn't get a lot of rest. Never mind. I don't know. I think he can do it, though. I really do. He's just going to have to ice it up. But I wouldn't, obviously, and I don't think he will kick a ball until Thursday. Yeah.
Like you said, man, look, this guy, he's been doing it for a while. Like you said, he doesn't need to go out there and practice. He's already he's got all his timing and stuff down. He already knows. I mean, that short approach. Yeah. And so, LT, when I coached in college, I was a special teams coordinator for like 4 years. And so, I always take care of my guys and just hearing and seeing the operation of everything, just gave me a better appreciation for it. But him making that short approach for that, man, I was like, yo.
Crazy.
I was going to ask you, how many guys you think make a kick like that? I mean, on that short approach.
To alter your approach in a game situation is not easy, but you practice like one-step kicks. Like that's part of my warm-up or part of what I did throughout the week. But I bet you he's probably never done it with a live snap and hold. I mean, I do it with the holder, by myself, one step, and I can hit 50, 55-yard field goals. But doing it in game with a rush and a live snap and hold is pretty incredible. But it speaks to the talent of Butker. And I think, if he ices this thing up, stays off of it, goes and gives it a little run, tapes it up maybe on Thursday, and maybe I would get a Toradol shot just to kind of hide any pain. And then he gets, 10 days off from their next game. So I think he'll play.
Yeah. That was just, look, man, that was just gutsy in itself. Like you said, that plan for, man. I mean.
To go out there in a game, you're blowing another team out. So that tells me that gives us a little indication of the medical staff thinks that, it's okay. Yeah, it's sore, and we signed this kid just in case he has a setback. But that's the only reason that Amendola got signed, I think, is if he has a setback. But I think Butker will play Thursday.
And JD, moving to the O-line aspect, with Trey Smith, obviously he logged limited practice yesterday, but he left the game early and it didn't come back with that ankle injury. How big of a deal is his presence on Thursday against this D-line that we keep talking about that had 5 sacks against the Raiders on Sunday?
Redder, he came in, he did a great job, as far as filling in. And so the way I look at it like this, usually when you have guys that dress for the game, that are linemen, they're usually capable of taking that position over. And so I don't really worry as much about that, I think, because he has Creed, he has, Wiley beside him. He's going to be fine. Trey Smith, obviously, his presence is going to be missed, of course. But I think, man, as far as like what they do just offensively up front, I think it's going to be fine. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I don't see it as a big deal. The thing is, if we were playing maybe the Rams and you had Aaron Donaldson in front of you, maybe it'd be a little bit more. You know what I mean? That might be some cause for concern. But as far as, it's not necessarily the interior I'm worried about as much as the outside guys, the tackles. So, Orlando Brown Jr. and Wiley's going to have their hands full. And so everything else though on the line should be straight, And here's the thing. Didn't really talk about that. The Chiefs did a great job running the football. I think one of the jobs and one of the things you have to do game planning is running against this defense. That's what will absolutely slow this pass rush down. You just come off the football and hit them dead in the mouth, right? And so I think
they're going to have to run the football to keep these guys at bay. Because
that's right.
You get into these 3rd and long, 3rd and 10s.
Yeah,
it'll be trouble. So you got to be, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 4, stuff like that. You're going to have to run the football, which obviously I'm sure they know. But yeah, you got to slow down Mack and Bosa because they could ruin your night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mack had 3 sacks the other day against his former team. What do you? Cause this is something we talked about during the offseason. JD was Wiley at the right tackle. What did you make of his performance on Sunday? Because I mean, even though that we kind of rolled on their defense, they still got some good hits on Pat. They were still kind of laying licks on him. That was kind of their game plan, just kind of lay licks on him.
Yeah, you know what? Some of the licks that I was seeing, there was one. The CEH probably should have chipped the outside linebacker defensive end, and he didn't. Atlanta Brown still look, and I think he's still coming into it because he came in late in training camp, and so he's about week 3 or 4. You're going to see him being where he needs to be, and so now this is going to be the great test of him doing all the tennis ball work in the swimming pool against this guy against Mac. But Wiley, I think Wiley did a good job. I think they did a really good job. And so we know Pat gets a deep drop. And so they had to reiterate to him, like, look, you got to step up, Pat, to kind of make the plays. You got to step up, because if they don't, this is where it's going to be, you're going to lose the integrity of the pocket. It's all the way back here. You don't want to do that. And so the guys, tackles, I think they did a pretty decent job, man. I think right now, I've said this on Twitter, is you got to make sure those backs are chipping before you go out. Chip and go out, okay? And I don't even care if it's just a little chicken wing. Just get your little rib, Just slow those guys down. And it only just takes a little bump. I think people don't realize that. Just
if you want to see a chip block,
see
Leonard Fournette on Micah Parsons.
Woo! Man.
Oh, rib. Hey, that was a 6-piece rib dinner with biscuits. I mean, and then Parsons was chiming in on Twitter about how this block should be illegal, and I said, "Man, you can't do that." Have you seen it?
Thank you. Yes, and I'm sitting there like,
you know that's a legal block.
Yes, he knows it is. Right.
That was Leonard Fournette, and then Fournette hit him with the crying Jordan emoji. I mean, or the meme. It was beautiful. But Parsons, that's one of the nastiest ones I've seen in a long time.
He's that
was nasty.
He's cried. Which I forgot who was the first round pick for you all for the Giants.
Saquon. Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, he was crying about that block, right? Mm-hmm. He was crying about that. And of course, he cries about this one. I'm just like, look, Parsons, I understand you want to get a free pass rush, and it's not going to be that. This is football. You've been playing for the past few years. This is what happens. So don't start crying and changing the rules right here. This is how it all works.
That's how it works. The chip block is, I mean, some of the backs are obviously very good at it. The big backs. Brandon Jacobs used to kill people.
Oh, man.
In New York when I played with him at 6'5", 270. I mean, he was just a tight end tackle running the football. But it's a legal block. But to your point, the backs are going to have to help out these tackles this week or Thursday.
I believe Von Miller also chimed in online saying they need to outlaw that.
Whatever they can do to make their job easier.
Right.
I get it. Listen, I'm not mad at them.
All right, so with the final topic, we have the game prediction tonight for Thursday night. Chiefs are currently a 3.5-point favorite at home against the LA Chargers on Thursday. First game on Amazon Prime with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. That'll be fun to watch at 8:15. And your guy Tony is going to be the pre-game guy for the Amazon Prime. You excited?
Oh, great!
Oh yeah!
I didn't know Tony moved over there.
Yeah, he's doing the deal, man. I'm
actually going to dinner with Herbstreit now tomorrow, so I'll see them. I'll get some insight. Maybe give them some insight. I know Herbie pretty well, so I'm just trying to get a job. Maybe sideline, take Tony's job. All right, you want me to go first on the prediction?
Do it.
I think that it's Arrowhead at night. That's worth 7 points alone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the Giants. Here I go. The Chiefs. I think they win this game. I'm going to say like 31-21. I don't think it's close. Not at Arrowhead, not at night, not this early in the season with all these healthy bodies. No way.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good prediction. That's kind of where I was at. I'm gonna make it a little bit closer, and I think they're gonna get maybe a field goal at the end, to try to get it closer. So I'm gonna say 31-24. That's where I'm gonna be at.
Okay.
It's just for the simple fact, like you said, at night, Arrowhead, and I think it's just gonna be one of those things coming down to the wire that maybe offense may stall a little bit. I mean, they're going to be hitting on all cylinders at the end, but I think right now, San Diego is going to immediately come out here and try to score points, right? But they without one of their big dogs on the outside. So I don't know. It's going to be a little tough, man. But that running game, if we stop the running game with Eckler, we're going to be fine.
Keenan Allen will miss, right?
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a big player for them. So I think that hurts them.
I will say though, they barely used Mike Williams on Sunday. I mean, he was spreading the ball around to everybody without Keenan Allen. I mean, and Eckler didn't even have that good of a game on Sunday, and they still were able to beat the brakes off the Raiders.
Yeah. See, and I think, like I said, if we hold up well defensively, I said the defensive line. I was talking about this earlier. Chris is going to need some help. Those other guys in that's inside on the interior, they're going to have to come play their A game, man. They're going to come play ball. And so if they do that and make some penetration on that line, I think we might beat them pretty handily. But we'll see. But that's my prediction, man. 31-24 Chiefs.
I like it. So both you guys are covering the spread 3.5. So viewers, listeners, Chiefs minus 3.5. Take it.
This is not gambling advice. Just a prediction.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. Lawrence, thanks for coming on, man.
Man. Thanks for having me.
It was awesome.
Enjoyed it.
If anyone is curious to listen to more from Lawrence Tynes, you can see him on the Blue Rush podcast. If you are interested in listening to some Giants stuff as well.
Yeah.
Where can they?
We just won one game. First time in 6 years we won the home opener.
Holy crap!
It's been a bad run, man.
Jeez.
Really bad. They're the worst. They're the worst team in football over the last 5 seasons.
Wow.
Tough to
First
watch.
time in 6 years.
How about this? The first time they're above 500 in 6 years. So that when they went 1-0 in 16, when they went 1-0 to win their opener, that was the last time the Giants were over 500.
Oh wow.
That's bad. And I have to talk about it.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You can only talk about bad football. Thank God I've only been doing this show 3 years. Oof.
You try to do like this with material, you're like,
man, I have to dive so deep to find something positive to say. Like, so-and-so's mom was at the game, and it was a beautiful moment for him. Right. Meanwhile, he had like 5 fumbles and a dropped touchdown. Like, they've sucked. It's been bad. So this is actually entertaining to talk about a good team.
Well, we're going to say, you're welcome to come on anytime to talk Chiefs. If the Giants go down a dark path this year.
I think the Giants will be better this year. There's no question. I think, they're going to be fine. I know it's not a Giants podcast, but I think they're going to be much improved. So we'll see.
LT, man, listen, I'm coming out there for the game. Shoot, I don't know if you have some time, man. We might be able to catch up, but we're
coming out this week for the game?
For this week, yeah. Catching dinner. So Billy B, all those guys, Tony, we all going to get together.
I need to bring you and Billy and is Tony coming out?
Tony's coming out, yeah.
Show up with Herb Street now when I meet them for dinner.
Shoot, that sounds good, man. Shoot,
Make Al pay. I'm sure Amazon's paying. Bezos is paying. Bezos.
Right.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.